Testing. One, two, 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 three. Just checking out how YouTube live stream is working and rolling. First time on here, trying to see what all I can do. So yeah, if you don't know me or haven't never met me before, uh, my name is t.Staples, as you see by the channel name. Some people call me t.Staples. Some people just call me t.Staples, but I prefer Thomas. It's real easy. It should be simple. Um, but yeah, I'm just on here checking out this live streaming situation with YouTube. I've actually had a YouTube channel for many years. I think 2006. Whenever they started, shortly after they went public or made it available to public, I was on it. Matter of fact, I actually have another channel, TS Productions, where I've done videos in the past when I was in college, and I put little shorts, mini little skit videos for Greeks and for I got a short film up there, a few other things I got going on over there. But it was a it was a channel that really just showcased the work I was doing back then, which again, like I said, it was college, very little work, but kind of was before I got into my career. So a little bit about myself. I went to Tennessee State University up from Stone Mountain, Georgia, but I came to TSU and studied architecture. Quickly found out while I was in school that um, that really wasn't my path, my direction, where I want to go. And so I kind of got stuck into the program of engineering, and I stayed in that program until I left Tennessee State. But while I was there, I found out that I really had a passion for videography, production, live stage production, and film. And so what happened for me was a past uh, kind of bubbled up. In high school, I did a lot. I was on the debate team, I was marching band, but I also worked with a class, Mrs. Walton, which was like a TV production class. And I think that's where the bug kind of bit me. Working with that class, I think I got to go out on one music video shoot with some classmates. We were doing a school song. And so we all got together to shoot this school song. And it was fun. I mean, it was like, dude, it was like, I don't know. It was just like, man, we out here. We got lights. We got cameras. We got the singers. That it was just an experience. So I think that was kind of a seed, and then that seed started to sprout when I got to college, and I started working with some of the communication students. But I have to give a big shout out to um, the mentors I had at the time and the female mentors, which were one was from Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and the other was from Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Ironically, I had two. I don't know why. They just picked me up as a freshman on campus. It's like, all right, you gonna be my mentee. I was like, all right, cool. But the one um, who was in Delta, she was they call her a social butterfly. I won't name her name because I don't know if she's what she would want from a privacy standpoint. But I put this out here. They call her the social butterfly was her nickname. And what was so interesting about her as the social butterfly is she was in communication. She was getting around. Um, the line that she came out on was going to do a what they call a Greek week. Now, if you go to black schools, HBCUs, and I think Greek weeks happen in other schools too. So it may not just be HBCUs, but for lack of me not going to a PWI, I'm gonna just speak for what I understand, what I know for a fact. Um, these Greek weeks sometimes could be at this time. This is 2003. 2004, 2005 in this range in this area. Um, this is a big deal. These people were running the yard. It was part. I think her line had 135. So imagine you got Greek lines like 20, 30, sometimes 50, but they had 135. Like talk about they hell night. What was that like? But anyway, so she came off of that long line, but she was in communication. She was moving around, booming and bunking, and she was like, "Yo, you should record. you should think about recording my Greek week or whatever. And I don't know if it started with that conversation or how it actually got to it, but she introduced me to somebody who was in control of like their finances or whatever, and they ended up paying for it. They ended up paying for me and some friends. Big boy AJ, who's big in Atlanta. He's on tour with various artists throughout the years he's done. Um, Brandon Nix, um, quite a few of us were on that gig together. And what happened was that launched like this idea of TS Productions. So when you go to that page, if you see TS Productions online, you go to that page, you'll see stuff that we were doing back in college. That's stuff from college. So that's like um just those productions, those things that were relevant at the time. And unfortunately, that very first one that kind of launched it off, I think their theme was, if I remember, it was Delta Flight. And we recorded each day of the week. We had a little bit of each day of the week. And we put together, we hosted it. I did most of the camera work. Somebody has to hop on the camera, somebody get on the mic, and record the whole Greek week. And it kind of jumped off the whole TS Productions recording Greek weeks. And so when we did that, I went into the studio at the time, which was in the women's building of Tennessee State University, where they could edit things. And I had my hard drive or whatever. And I knew how to edit. Again, I had started doing this in high school, but I hadn't really put together this is something I was going to be good at, or I could transfer, because again, like I said, I was studying engineering. So I went into communications um, building to ask about, is there a place where I can edit or whatever? And somebody told me, yeah, we got some edit suites. So you had to schedule them or book them to get them. And I went and booked with the teacher. I think his name was Dr. Page at the time. I was like, all right, I need to edit this project I've been working on with the Greeks. And he was like, oh yeah, go in here. And so he set me up. I plugged in my hard drive. I had it going. I'm editing off my drive. Now this time, this is how crazy this is. They had internal drives in the computer where the students were storing their projects on. I, not being a communication student, didn't have even I wasn't even privy to the knowledge of that. So I just like didn't even use it. I had my own hard drive. I knew how to do stuff on an external drive. I had that experience doing Casablanca in high school, Final Cut in high school, iMovie, which is really where I really toiled on in the beginning. And so they had Premiere on this particular machine, and I had never heard of Premiere before, but I was like, I know how to edit. So it's a tool. I looked at it as a tool. I'll go in there, plug up my hard drive, get my project going. I would come back periodically, work on it. I think the theme, it was Delta Flight was their week, but I think I was using like Candy Coated Wayne Drops and these songs, just like just cool hip songs to bring nostalgia and the vibe of the time. Finished the project up in there, but along the way I met some people. One was a gentleman named Freddie B. Now I was the reason I looked up because I was thinking, should I say his full name? Well, I don't know if he want that out there, so let me just say it like this. I know his public name. You can look him up as Freddie B. Met him. He was doing a show at a time with another gentleman, and they got together to produce like this on-campus shows, kind of like Man on the Street, comedy, asking questions, whatever. And in the midst of me editing this Delta project, he was like, well, I think he was in his room, the two rooms connected. So you walked in, it was one edit suite, and then to the left was a door. You can go in, there was a second suite. So he would be in that suite because it's like deeper and more private. I don't know if that's just where or it may have been just that he started in that suite. His projects were on those particular drives, which were internal to that computer. So who knows? But why he chose it, but that's where he was. I don't know if it was him inviting me to look at his clips or me just stepping in, knocking on the door, let me check out what you got. But essentially, I watched some of his show. I saw what he was doing, and I was like, it was cool, but for me, it wasn't bringing the real funny. It was like lighthearted. Like, okay, that's cool. But it was like, and I told him that. He was offended. He was offended by that. But it's funny because, long story short, that spun off to us having a great friendship down the line, and that's more to come on that because that's a deeper story. But that's how I met that gentleman. But that happened in this period of time as I was navigating where I want to go, what I want to do, what I want to be. And so as I continued on matriculating through school, I ended up coming back and back and back to the communications. Now it moved from women's building to a brand new building. And I ended up helping students with projects on editing. I was like, wow, I'm actually pretty good at this. Um, Freddie B got a call from a friend of his about doing a show called the Stella Awards. And that same friend, I don't know if he called me directly. I can't remember if it was Fred that called me, but the guy I met, in the editing suite, I attribute it to him because I don't actually remember if it was his friend Doug or who was actually working this award show, or if it was him. I can't remember how the story goes totally, but I ended up getting a call to come work this award show as a stand-in. The award show was the Stella Awards. Now me, I'm like, cool. I'm an engineer major. I ain't even a communication major, so I'm happy to go. I'm like, let's go, man. It's whatever. I think they were paying $50 a day, something dumb cheap. Like I was just happy to be in there. Like, oh, this is cool. Look at these lights. Look at what they're doing. They were rehearsing. What happened was I ended up getting on stage to stand in for a judge position for Miss Shirley Caesar. And I need to look up the song because I don't know the song to this day. And as I tell the story more, I'm going to go back and really think about all the details because the details really make the story a little bit more powerful. But I'm just going to tell it based off the top of my head. First time just streaming on YouTube. So here we go. And so I'm on stage. I am pretending to be this judge. They gave me a gavel. I'm just like, and I'm pointing like I'm judging her. It's a gospel show, by the way. So she's a gospel singer. So for those who don't know who Shirley Caesar is, she's a big award-winning gospel singer. She's huge in the gospel game. Now, I'm greener than a blade of grass. I don't know. That's an old school term that you may have heard your daddy or somebody say, but I'm like, I'm so not, I don't know nothing. Everything's going over my head. I'm doing is I'm enjoying the lights. I'm enjoying, the setup is a beautiful setup. And I'm pretending to be this judge. I don't even know who she is. What happened was she set her glasses. She had these glasses. She set them down right on I don't know if you call it judge's stand, but right where I was sitting in front of me. So while she was rehearsing, these glasses are sitting here. And I'm not even paying attention. I'm just like, I'm doing my thing. Pointing her out. Pointing her out, right? She finishes her rehearsal set. She's walking off, going stage right. I look over. Miss Caesar, you left these. She said, I was wondering, was you going to keep those? She came back, she got them. She asked me what I was doing that night. I said, I don't know. She said, well, stick around. You should come back to the show. Now, lo and behold, the director at the time, his name is Michael Johnson. I think we had, I think Donna Parker was his stage manager. Yeah, I think that was her. He comes out stage left. Oh, no, don't worry about anything. We're going to have an actor here tonight. I don't know if she was telling me to come back to be the judge for her set. I don't know if that's what she was really saying, but I know what he said was, we got somebody coming to do the role. It's going to be all good. This is going to be great. Don't worry about anything. She's like, well, I like him. He was good. I like him. This is what she said. I like him. He was good. She walks off. They give me tickets to the show. And the tickets are, so, if you know your stage directions, they're stage left, but I'm house right. So the way that works is, if you're on the stage and you're facing the audience, left, right. Make sense? So I'm house right, which is stage left. So I'm going to scratch this desk up. But anyway, so I'm house right. Like I'm in that seat. It's like the stage is right there, but like I'm close. But then it's like I got a bad angle. But I mean, I'm here. I'm in the Stella Awards. So I can see. I'm gonna check this out. This is gonna be cool. Show's going. It's an amazing show. I'm like, man, this show is fire. This show is kicking butt. Like I'm loving this. This is cool. I'm not a big gospel head, but this is cool. Out of the door comes Donald Parker. I'm like, how you doing? She's like, I need you to come backstage. So, grabs me. I'm like, all right. Like it's like one of the animated characters, animate like cartoon, like zip me away, right? So she zips me backstage. All right, I need you to take this off, put this on, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, what's happening? She said, you're going on, you're the judge. Now, I don't know if Miss Caesar had a fit or if the guy didn't show up. I was told she was like, I'm not going on unless he goes on. That's dope. That's so dope if that's what happened. Or if the guy just didn't show up. I mean, hey, I was sitting there, like I said, I was there watching the show. Whatever happened, what happens next literally starts my career in television and film. They throw the judge's gown on top of me, or whatever you call it, and they give me a gavel. So, oh, I got a real gavel. I ain't got to pretend. I can hit something. They give me the gavel, and literally, it's funny. Like you think about a movie, they shove you on stage. Literally, they're like, okay, wait. Okay, now it's your time to go on stage. They're waiting for my set, and they push me on stage. I go out, I sit down. She does her song. I'm hitting the hammer, pointing, doing my thing. Bow, bow, just just acting. I ain't no big actor, but just bow, bow. I'm getting in there, right? I'm really digging. I'm having fun. This is fun. After the set, she comes over to me, grabs my hand. She took her bow, whatever. She comes, grabs my hand, walks me backstage. She's holding my hand, by the way. So I'm going with her. It ain't. It's like, and she's doing her thing. So I'm going with her. She introduces me to pretty much everybody that runs the show. The owner, his sister. I think Amy Curry was the production office manager at the time. Um, the gentleman who was over music, Fred, I can't think of his full name. It was a few people. It just in that whole production office that she introduced me to. Amy was like, "Well, hey, what are you doing next year?" I was like, "Well, I mean, I'm in Nashville. I'm in school at Tennessee State, trying to, get my degree or whatever." She's like, "All right, well, come back. You got a job." That is how I got into the TV industry. From that moment till now, I have been doing something whether it has to do with the live stage, whether it's recorded, film, or live television, from ESPN to um, all the films I've done with various film festivals and private producers, commercial work, encore event productions in the hotels, and just all kind of live stuff, projection, all these things I've done in video started right there. Even all the way to today where I'm now working for a television network. Um, it is because of that moment that I am where I am today. That moment did not happen. I'm not sure because that moment got me not only backstage, but it got me introduced to the right kind of people who then were all kind of, everybody's trying to come up in their various positions. And so I would meet people along the way. And of course, like the gift of gab that I have, it carried me a certain distance, but you had to have that initiating factor. And that for me was that factor. That was that first little bitty creak in the door for me to kick it open. You get your foot in the door, but you don't just keep your foot there. You push that thing open and walk through. And so that's what I did. And that moment led to everything else that we're going to be talking about on this channel, as well as various other things that, my opinions in relationship, my opinions in, business, tech, and media, finances, and bringing on people to extract the information that they have to give as well. That's my goal with what I'm trying to do here. So I'm getting started. It's, I'm not trying to say that this is the most pretty, pristine, but listen, I've seen a million channels. I watch all kind of YouTube content creators. And one thing that I know about me is that I'm not afraid to be my own voice in a crowded room. I never have been. Just like at the award show, I'm not afraid to do what I do. So I'm just gonna continue on, and hopefully we can have some fun. We can talk about some stuff. So listen, if you watching this for the first time, if you're seeing this for the first time, um, if you are just tuning in to see what's this guy doing, this guy with his black shirt on, and I got in the back that's to clean my saxophone. It's stupid. Like I was practicing today because I'm actually getting married soon, so they get married in about 2 months. So I'm practicing that so I can perform, play some of some things for her. So there's other parts of my story I haven't told you because I was at TSU. I was also in the marching band. So there's a lot of stuff that we got to get into. But enough about that for now. What I want you to do is in the comments below, I'm leaving the comments open to this video. I'm just putting this as my first video I'm putting up. But in the comments below, I want you to put some ideas and some topics you think you'd be interested in hearing me talk about, and some people you want me to interview. You know, it's some people I really think need to be interviewed that haven't really seen the light of day. And it's some people who maybe aren't as famous or maybe aren't as well known, but are just as interesting as some of the most famous people out there that I would love to talk to. Um, and I think some people just need the roses. There's some of our elders and our history that's still alive. You know, I think about Shahrazad Ali. She's still alive. Like we should we should be talking to her more as content creators, black content creators especially, should be celebrating her life's work. Angela Davis. Come on now. Enough said. Enough said. But I know she's overseas, maybe more difficult to get her. But these are the people who I'm looking to connect with and get their stories on tape for the new generation, the next generation of content creators, and the next generation of human beings who may not read all the text of what they were done or what's laid in the history books. They may not buy every book or ebook or listen to it or whatever on those platforms like Audible or whatever. They may not do that. So sometimes it's nice to just have that face to face, that one on one conversation with people and just talk to them and say, listen, tell me your story. Tell me how you got here. And if it's anything I can extract for them that lets us know how we should move forward as a community, as a people, I think that is most important. One of the things that has been missed, in my opinion, is the guidelines, the steps, the book, the SOP of Black. What is that? Is there such a thing? Can there be such a thing? There's these unwritten things that we go by in our community. And listen, I ain't knocking nobody, but it'd be nice to get some of these folks who've been there, who's going through the struggle, who can help us move a little easier. And I'm gonna tell you one thing, and we're gonna be off. It's something I actually said back to the story of the young lady who was a Delta. I used to hear them talk about crossing the burning sands, crossing the burning sands. And it's every time I would hear any Greek, whether it's alphas, kappas, omegas, sigmas, deltas, hold on, make sure I got AKs, SG zetas. I got everybody. Iotas. Can't forget them because they the last of the line. If you get mad, you forget them. They be, But you hear them talking about this, crossing the burning sands. And I used to always say to them, well, that's cool if it was, 1920 something, 1930. But like we in this time, we in the early 2000s. We top of the 21st century here. We coming from 20th century at the top of the 21st century. And y'all talking about crossing burning sands. Why the sand still on fire? Why didn't nobody go back and, I don't know, put some water on the sands or build a path on top of that? Throw some leaves on there. And why the next generation out of them didn't put no concrete down? Build some rails, a bridge maybe, something to get over them sands. Because the people who struggled to get over the sands first, yes, they had to do what they had to do. When we came out of slavery, our ancestors had to do what they had to do to get something, just to get a little bit. But as we keep moving forward, yeah, we're going to continue to fight the good fight. We're going to continue to listen. We're going to continue the movement. But them sands should not be on fire no more. This is what I said. I said, it don't make sense. Y'all still talking about crossing burning sands. Y'all should be talking about crossing nicely paved roads, asphalt with lines in them to tell you which direction to go. You on this side, on that side, we good. So anyway, that's my spiel, man. Listen, I'm T.Staples, Thomas, if you know me. I hope y'all tune in for what's to come in the future. And I won't be too long. That's it for me. Peace.